Hi, Tracy Baker here for Baker Gets Cooking. Today's show we are going to make butterscotch oatmeal cookies. And I have a helper today. This is Seth Baker, son number 3.
Hi.
And he's going to be my assistant today, or rather I'm going to be his assistant because he's going to do the work. Now these are one of Seth's favorite cookies, I think, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're great because they don't have any nuts in them and they can go to school. So I like to add them to his lunch box, and they've got some oatmeal in them. They do have some sugar in them as well, as all cookies do. So, but he loves them. They're safe to take to school. They freeze really well, and they're a good thing to have in your freezer. So we're going to get started. What almost all cookies start with is, let me just make sure this is right. You start with butter and sugar, and you have to cream the butter and sugar. So there's a cup of butter in the bowl, and Seth's going to put a half a cup of white sugar. Good. And 1 cup of brown sugar. Awesome. Go ahead, Seth. You can turn that on. Just start it at low to start with. Good. Now you can turn it up to a little bit higher. Let's scrape the sides down a little bit. Okay, you can turn it off now. Okay, so our room temperature butter and our brown sugar and our white sugar have been being combined for about 2 minutes. So beating with an electric mixer for a couple of minutes until the color changes. You'll see it lighten in color. And the butter and the sugars are well incorporated with each other. So then we can add 2 eggs. Good. And a little bit of vanilla, teaspoon of vanilla. And we're going to combine that. So you can turn that on too. Okay, next we're going to add our dry ingredients. Now you can either combine all the dry ingredients into one container and then add it, or you can, the way I do it is I just add all the dry ingredients to the bowl and gently mix it. So 2 cups of flour. And Seth, you could add the oatmeal, or give me the oatmeal and I'll add it from over here. And 2 cups of oatmeal. And we need a little bit of baking soda and baking powder. So a teaspoon of baking soda. I'm just going to turn that there so you can just... And a teaspoon of baking powder. Oh, okay, this is a half a teaspoon, so you're going to have to add 2 of these, right, for 1 teaspoon. Math in the kitchen. And then you need a teaspoon, well, you have a whole bunch here in a teaspoon of baking powder.
2 of those?
2 of those, yep. Our oven is preheating at 350 degrees. Good job. Okay, 1 more, and then you can add a bit of salt. Good. Half a teaspoon of salt.
2 of these again?
No, just 1. Right? It's a half a teaspoon. So you will find that most of your baked goods will call for salt, and salt just kind of enhances the sweetness of the baked goods. So it won't be a ton of salt that you add, but it'll be a little bit, and it just makes everything kind of fuller in flavor. Okay, so we're gently going to mix this. Now because I'm mixing the flour, we don't want to mix this very aggressively because once you start mixing flour and adding it to wet ingredients, you start to develop the gluten protein fibers. So that is what makes bread kind of spongy. is the gluten strands. So in cookies, we don't want a stretchy, spongy cookie. We want a very tender cookie. So we just mix it gently and only until the wet and the dry ingredients are combined. So just on low, Seth, please. Okay, stop. Okay, so the dry ingredients are just about combined, and the last ingredient to go in is 2 cups of butterscotch chips. This is Seth's favorite ingredient in these cookies. So 2 whole cups of chips in there. Okay, let's just do it on low. And we'll just give it some help. Okay, you can stop that, Seth. That's good. So this is a drop cookie, and I think they're probably the easiest kind of cookie to make. This is a pretty basic, old-fashioned kind of cookie, I think. So we'll just get all the batter. Seth wants to taste this batter. There you go. While I finish up the mixing, he can have a taste of the batter. How is it?
Delicious.
Now I'm just going to scrape around the sides just to make sure everything is incorporated. And that's a nice soft batter. So I've got some cookie sheets here, and I've got a ice cream scoop, and I think it's a 2 teaspoon ice cream scoop. It's the perfect size for cookies. I love it. It makes your life really easy. So you can get it at, you know, kitchen centers and probably Winners or that kind of thing. And so we're just going to drop our balls right onto the cookie sheet. Okay, so 12 cookies per sheet. They're going to bake in a 350-degree oven for 8 to 10 minutes. I like these just golden brown, and they'll be crispy today, but by tomorrow they'll be nice and soft and chewy, and that's how we like our cookies. We like soft, chewy cookies. The cookies are out of the oven, and I'm just going to let them sit on this pan for a couple of minutes. Now, you need to just leave them for a little bit before you take them off of that hot pan. And then we're going to put them on this cooling rack. When I have a whole bunch of cookies, I usually set out some clean tea towels, and I put the cookies on the clean tea towels. And this recipe makes about 6 dozen or so, so at the end of the day you have a lot of cookies. So Seth, do you want to go ahead and take them off of that pan? Careful not to touch the pan.
I need to.
You need that? Okay. Good job, bud. Now, before I reload this up with cookie dough, I'm going to wait till it cools off. You must wait till it's a cool pan again, or else your cookie dough will start to melt, and you don't want that. Makes for funny looking cookies. So I'm just going to kind of scrape off some of the leftovers. Yeah, some of the chips have kind of stuck to the bottom a little bit, and then I'm going to just wipe that out with a paper towel and reload it with cookies and do it all over again. Okay, now we've come to Seth's favorite part, and that is tasting. So you can go ahead and taste. The cookies are cooled off a little bit. They're still quite nice and warm. And just some quality control here. Do they pass inspection? Yeah, I think so. So this batch made exactly 6 dozen cookies for me. So depending on how big you make your cookies, it could vary a little bit. We've left a nice little bunch of batter in the bowl for Seth to lick out. So I hope your family likes this recipe as much as mine does. Hope you try it. The recipe will be, the link will be underneath the video, so you can look at that on my blog. And we'll see you again next time. Bye.